Hi YouTube, Cole here at Kitschy Flower. I have a super exciting video planned for today. We are doing a Rushton rubber face restoration. Lots of R's, huh? But I'm super excited. In a previous YouTube video, I actually showed off this little one I got in Nashville I guess it was like a week or two ago. All days are running together at this point. But as you can see, she is a bit on the dirtier side. Granted, she is like 70 years old, so I'll give her that. But I do want to clean her up. Let's make her shine. But yeah, I actually have been wanting to do a full-length YouTube video on a toy restoration. I just haven't gotten around to it, but hey, here's the time. So I'm super excited. We are going to be working on this cutie. Of course, she is for my own personal collection, but I am still super excited to share the process of cleaning her up with you guys. Hopefully you'll learn a thing or two on how I do my restorations, and hopefully you can apply it to some of your vintage toys if you have any sad, lonely, decrepit little ones needing a good spa day. So let's get into it, shall we? So first we're going to be removing her little vest and little carrot, and we're going to get her unstuffed, of course, because we're going to give her a new, fresh look. I'm super excited. Like I've said in my previous video, these bunnies are super popular amongst collectors. I used to have a few back in the day before I sold my entire collection. Definitely regret, but now starting to build back my collection as we speak. And you can see, actually underneath the vest, you can see her original coloring, which is this amazing, amazing baby pink fur. Hopefully we can get her back to what she once was. I think we can. You can see she has some damage on the bottom of her feet, which is pretty common with the Rushton with felt feet, because, you know, felt doesn't last forever, unfortunately. But other than that, I mean, she's in great condition. She was just either in a window or something. I mean, it doesn't look like she actually got played with too much. So probably what I'm gonna end up doing with her vest, I like to try to keep every original element we can. So you can see it has major fading on the side it already is on. So what we're going to do is pretty much just flip it inside out, pop the seams, flip them the other way, pop out the little grommets and stuff, and just flip it inside out, because you can see it is still vibrant on the inside, and I think it's much more fun to have the original vest as opposed to making a new one. So, but we're gonna set this aside for a little bit later. And you can see she does still have the original carrot, which is quite rare. You don't find Rushtons with their little accessories too often, so when you do, it's amazing. And of course her original bow, which I think I'll probably end up using, but I am probably going to stain it a baby pink, make it a little bit more vibrant. So, yes. So the first thing I am actually going to do is, you can see she has a seam in the back. But yeah, usually all Rushtons do, so what I'm going to do is pop those seams, let's de-stuff her, and get her clean. I mean, you can, I don't know, I always prefer to stuff my animals with new stuffing. That's just me. I mean, granted, it's a little bit different if I'm, you know, working on a plush that I'm selling, because usually, I don't know, it just depends on what state the plush is in and what you planned on doing with it. Me personally, obviously, I am keeping this little gal, so I don't mind restuffing her with new fluff, but, you know, sometimes I will occasionally reuse the stuffing they had originally and go about it that way. But for her, I don't really care. She's my own, so. All right, so you can see she is all open. Yes. All right, and before we get her unstuffed, I always pick out a handy dandy bowl to put the stuffing in. And a lot of times I like to use gloves. If I remember, I will use gloves. you know, you never know what they were stuffed with back in the day. I found some very interesting things in plush. So I usually, if I can remember, I like to stay on the safer side. And speaking on the safer side, I will wear a mask when I unstuff them just because it tends to fly everywhere and get in your nose. And you probably shouldn't be breathing that in, if I had to guess. So I always usually wear a mask while unstuffing. I just feel like it's probably for the best. Yes, and just going in there, unstuffing, not too hard. Of course, you want to be as gentle as possible because you don't want to further rip any of the seams. You just honestly want to be as gentle as you can because you have to remember these stuffed animals are, you know, anywhere from, I don't know, 70 to 50 years old, or 50 to 70 years old. Get it right. But, so you have to be very careful with them. But as you can see, just unstuffing here. Usually the stuffing is actually quite cute. It has always some colors mixed in there. I think it's always a nice added touch. Some have little chopped up pieces of foam. Those are honestly my least favorite to deal with. I actually dealt with one of those earlier today. This is like the fourth rubber face I'm restoring, but the only one I'm doing on YouTube, so. But yeah, I worked with one earlier today that had all the foam, and it gets everywhere. It's hard to get out of the fur. I don't know. I just hate when they're stuffed with the foam. But usually Rushtons, I've noticed, are usually fluff, but you know. I always like to use a cute bowl while doing the unstuffing. I always like to make it a whole experience for myself and for you guys. I think it just makes life a little bit more fun. And granted, a little bit more fun. And I have a bunch of old Pyrex. So this is part of my my boo-boo collection. You can see it has some chipping and a little wear on it. So that's why I use this bowl for toy restoration projects. Because it's cute, it's aesthetic, but you know, it's not in perfect condition, so it's fine. Because if you didn't know, the gooseberry Pyrex is pretty highly desirable amongst collectors. Anything pink, count me in at least. Obviously, we have a pink bunny today. But yeah. So again, just going in, removing all the stuffing. And again, like some collectors don't mind if their plush has wear and tear to it. I don't usually, but I like my vintage to be clean. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe when it comes to that, especially plush, because it's just, I don't know, a lot can accumulate in the fur and what have you, and I just want to be as smart and safe as possible. Granted, with the squeaks and like vintage Barbies, I can just wipe down, and it's not as much of a ordeal, but with the vintage plush, you know, we're gonna be here a day, a day or two working on her. But that's all good. At least on this one, I don't think I'm gonna really have to retouch the face at all because it is honestly in great condition. All I'm really having to do is just, you know, give her a good wash and probably give her new feet, obviously, because they're a little bit chewed up, but that's easy. Just some felt. And again, I mean, that's kind of what's so nice about, you know, some of the Rushtons and stuff is because they are really pretty easy to like recreate, you know, the little accessories that they originally had, like the little vests, little hats, you know, it's all just made out of felt and ribbon pretty much. So if you have like a little bit of a, you know, a baseline of crafting knowledge, you'll definitely be able to, because they really aren't hard. And it's the best when you can find, you know, the vintage. A lot of times if I find like vintage Rushtons and their little vests or stuff are just like too bad, a lot of times I'll just go ahead, use the original, trace it on some paper, and then transfer it onto a new piece of felt. But that's just me. But yes, I am super excited for this little one. I have been on the hunt for a bunny for ages. Again, I used to have some in my collection, but have not. See, and you just find like little random, I don't know, just like a little piece of paper. Like, I don't know, they just sometimes added their most random things into them. I have found stockinettes, I found bugs, I found a bunch that have come out of vintage plush. And usually it's the stranger stuff, obviously, is if they've been repaired and like restuffed by others. But I don't know, they were definitely interesting, I will say that. And really, depending on how this one will clean up, if I clean her and, you know, some of the pink really pops again, that will be awesome and life-saving. But I'm thinking I might have to do a very, very gentle pink wash / you know, color treatment on her to make some of her pink kind of vibrant again, which really isn't hard. But you do have to be very careful because you do not want staining on any of the rubber pits, and you don't want it to be too intense. All right, so now we officially have a very flat Rushton bunny. You can see all of her stuffing is out. Yes, and here all of it is. Quite a bunch, you can see. And I don't know if it's picking up, but as I press it, all of these little fluffy flyaways are like going everywhere. Hence why I'm wearing a mask. But yes, super excited. So the next part is we're going to get her clean. Okay, so now is bath time for the cutie. Here we have a bowl full of lukewarm water with baby soap. I personally like to use baby soap. You could use Dawn dish soap or any other soap really, but I kind of like the smell, so that's why I use it. And the thing is, you never, 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 never want to throw one of these in a washing machine. Again, these are like 70 years old. It's not going to be a good result. And you also never want to put them in the dryer because their fur will melt and it's just not, it's not it. So don't recommend. Always hand wash and let them air dry afterwards. Also, some Rushtons do, but also some don't, have the cute little feet pad cardboard things that help them stand in the bottom of their feet. Of course, I always take these out because I will put these back in once it's finished. But if you get these wet, they're made out of like a very thick cardboard. They will disintegrate and not really serve you a purpose anymore. So if you do run into a rubber face plush you are fixing up, take these out before you get them wet. Definitely. All right. And I'm kind of debating, because obviously I'm going to be redoing the feet. I'm kind of debating whether to go ahead, take these off or not. I'm maybe kind of thinking I'm going to now, just before we get into the bath. I either use an X-Acto knife to open plush up or a seam cutter. Really anything I can find on hand, honestly. But yeah, so going around the edge of the foot, trying to get all of this, you know, kind of disintegrated felt off, so we can give her new ones, because as soon as we put this felt in water, it's going to just get gross and really, especially not serve us any purpose. So just going ahead, taking the foot pads off now, just to make life a little easier. And if you don't actually know too much about Rushtons, I did make a toy history video on TikTok. I will leave in the bio. You can get a little bit more informed on their history. They actually started out in Atlanta, Georgia, where I currently reside. So it is very fun. So again, just going in, removing these foot pads. All right, and here are the two withered away feet pads. Aw. definitely need to be replaced, but well loved and well served, so yes. And now you can see there are no longer any feet on the little bunny. Yes. Boop, 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 boop. All right, so let's give her a bath, shall we? All right, so again, lukewarm water with baby soap. Yes. And I will have to preference, this Rushton is a bit of an easier cleanup because she doesn't have dark and light bits in her fur. She is really just all one color. But if you were working on maybe like a skunk or something, you do have to be super, super careful with those because the black always tends to fade into the white. So what I do, I usually put some Vaseline on all of the white or conditioner, really let it soak in, and then I will do cold water and clean them that way so the black doesn't stain into the white. Because if you don't, it will. And especially if you use warmer water, it's gonna bleed more and more and more. So that's usually why. Granted, I don't really have to worry about her staining. So luckily for me, I don't have to take any of those measures. You just want to be gentle with them. Just really, you know, treat them with love, treat them with kindness. But yes, just definitely going in, scrunching the plush underwater, really trying to get the water and stuff soaked in. Just doing multiple rounds of squeezing. And then depending on how dirty the water is, I'll change the water once or twice, just really all depending. But yes, so just going in, really scrunching it in the water and the suds. You can see already some of the pink has started to brighten up a bit, so that is exciting. It does look like she might still have some discoloration, which I might be able to fix with some gentle staining on certain parts of her with a baby pink, but we'll see. Right, and so I just got back from cleaning off this little one. I did have to change her water, I think about 3 or 4 times until it ran clear, but here she is. Oh my gosh, actually the pink really has popped. You do see some discoloration in the pink fur here and there, but it is much, much better than where we started. And depending on how it looks dry, I might go in and spot check some of the discoloration and stain it pink, which is a very tedious process. If you know what you're doing, do it. If you don't, be careful because you don't want to end up staining their face. And look at how cute she cleaned up. I am so, so excited. What I am going to do next, because obviously I have said do not put these in a dryer. It will melt their fur. The fur will all be like clumped together. You can't brush it, just don't. Again, these are like 70 years old. It's just not a wise idea in my opinion. But what I do use to dry them, I actually just go ahead, put them on a coat hanger and really just leave them like this until they're dry. I find that to be the best solution for me. You know, because again, you just want to be as fragile and as careful with these plush as you can be. You know, because it's not like the new plush nowadays where you can buy them out of the store, throw them in the dishwasher. Not the dishwasher. Throw them in the washing machine like a Squishmallow or something like that. I'm not too versed on like newer plush, but you know. So as soon as she is done drying, which I probably guess is going to be, I don't know, a day or two, we will come back, restuff, reevaluate what we want to do from there. Because I'm thinking I might want to go over some of the very faded bits of pink with a spray bottle with some very, very diluted pink coloring. Granted, you gotta be careful because you can't get it on the ears, you can't get it on the face. You do have to be extremely careful when you are staining vintage plush because it can go wrong in very, very easily. But yeah, so we're just gonna let her dry and I'll check back with you when she is. And we're back, YouTube. All right, so we are on to the next portion of the video. We have gone ahead, given the little bunny a bath. Super clean now, and so still a bit of discoloration like I thought initially there was going to be, but I do have a solution to that. And yeah, so let's go ahead and show you her. OMG. She did clean up really nice. A lot more of that pink of her original coloring came through. But again, there is quite a bit of discoloration there. So I do want to fix that up. Just because if we're gonna restore a pink Rushton rabbit, let's go all out and like really restore her. So of course we are going to kind of do like a watercolor method of actually staining her fur. You have to control the color because if any gets on the face, it will stain, and I mean, value kind of goes away from there. But luckily, I am pretty confident in me staining and dyeing hair and fur, so you know, I am a licensed cosmetologist after all, and if I know anything, it's pastel shades and pastel pink. I've only had that color of hair 20 times in my life. I have had it very frequently. So I know we can fix this gal up. So I'm going to go ahead and lower you into the table zone and let's get into it, shall we? All right, so we are on the table. I know this might not be as aesthetically pleasing as the wonderful fabric I have behind me, but I don't want to stain it, so cardboard it is. So now we have her nice and clean. I did go ahead and wash her just because I wanted to make sure there was no dirt, because that can also deter the coloring from not sticking. So I wanted to make sure she was as clean as possible. So what I have gone ahead and done is I have mixed semi-permanent. I personally use a really deep pink, and then I dilute it however much I need to. Granted, I have done multiple tests with this color on napkins and even a little bit on her fur, and I have gotten the correct shade, which obviously you can see is a very, very light pink. Again, I just use like Manic Panic and like direct color dyes, because you know, I have been coloring my own hair, for the last like 13-ish years. So I'm pretty familiar with semi-permanents, and granted you could use RIT dye and like other, you know, synthetic dyes, but I don't know, I have a harder time like with diluting that, and I just don't know, you know, the material as well. For me, you know, hair color has always worked on vintage plush and just dolls to help, you know, fix up the hair a little bit if, you know, it is porous. Yes, you can go ahead and see this, the foot was actually really discolored. This is where I have already tested the concoction out. You can see it is brought back to that nice pink. Granted, it is still wet a little bit, but I'm super excited with the result. Because of course, I'm using the watercolor method just because I'm not trying to, you know, completely dunk her in water. That can also go wrong because it can pick up in some places and not pick up in other places. So definitely side with caution on that. All right, and so just from a little bit of distance, get that, spray it ever so lightly. Granted, I did formulate it so it's not going to pick up dark. So satisfying. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a time lapse of this, so I'm not here for hours, or at least in the video, so yeah. So now we are on to the vest portion. And you can see we have a discolored mess a little bit, but I am going to be actually using a chalk pastel to refresh the color. You can see I actually have already started on a little swatch right here. You can see the huge difference from this to that. My goodness. So now I'm just gonna kind of show you, again, just chalk pastel. Just kind of, you know, lightly rubbing that in, going over it. Easy peasy. And then once I do this, I'm probably going to use a aerosol sealant, probably Mr. Super Clear, just to kind of help all of this stay and not smudge off into the sweet bunny. So I'm super excited. I was thinking I was going to, you know, use the inside and flip it out, but I realized I was like, oh, that one is actually, or the inside is a little bit faded too, so I'm just like, okay, let's just go over with chalk pastels. My mom actually gave me that idea. She was like, make your life a little bit easier. So here we are, using some chalk pastels. All right, and we're back. Excuse the mess behind me. I'm currently in the process of moving in the next week or so. So do be kind. So we have already gone ahead and colored the bunny. Look, she is officially all pink again. I am so in love with how she came out. Of course, I see a little bit of discoloration, a little bit, but I think once we brush her out, I think she'll be good as new. But OMG, look at her. I am so, so excited. Let me move this light over. Anyways, so I guess let's get her stuffed, shall we? So of course I am just using Polyfill Crafters stuffing. It's my go-to for me personally. So let's get into it. So I obviously, I need to actually find the wire to put back into her ears. Give me a second. All right, so I'm back. I went ahead and put the wire back in her ears. So let's get her stuffed, shall we? So I'm super excited about this little one. Again, love Rushtons, and of course, anything pink. OMG, I am so excited about this little one. I had to buy some new polyfill because, like, I think this is the fourth rubber face I've restored in the last few days, so definitely have to keep that on hand. OMG, look. Oh, so in love. Super, super excited. She looks amazing, if I do say so myself. Just gonna go ahead, stuff her. Then we will get her sewn up. And yeah, all I really have to do is make her like feet pads. I have to make new ones of those because her old ones were really like, it looked like a moth had eaten them. And then what else do I have to do? Oh, I have to fix up her vest a little bit and really just get her brushed out. And I think that's about it for her. So I really don't have to do anything to her faceplate or face paint, which I'm really actually pretty happy about. We have the little one fully stuffed. OMG, look at her. I still have to do the new feet pads, but here is the felt, so that is the next step. But OMG, look, she honestly came out so much more vibrant and wonderful than I could have even imagined. So I'm super excited to go ahead, finish her up, give her her feet back. All right, so we have one done and one to go. We officially have both of the feet pads completely intact, no holes, no dirt, all brand new. And you can see, well, let's see. And as you can see, she can stand. All right, so we have this gal all brushed out, restuffed, refooted, new feet pads. I don't know what you call them. But I am overall super happy with her. All right, YouTube, here she is, all finished. I am so beyond happy with how she came out. I did keep her original vest, which I'm really happy about. I did have to add a new ribbon on her carrot. The old one like disintegrated on me, but OMG, she is so, so, so cute. So I actually didn't paint on her. I actually just lightly brushed her with some chalk pastel. I mean, her face paint wasn't bad, so didn't really want to do acrylic after all. But I am so, so happy. She is so, I mean, 10 times more vibrant and just honestly pure magic. I am so in love with her. So I will show you her feet pads. OMG, give her a 160 turn. So, so much better than how I found her. I am so, so pleased. But thank you so much for watching my first YouTube video. This is kind of behind the scenes, all the lighting. But this was obviously my first video on a toy restoration on YouTube. It was so much fun. I am so happy I got to share this little one with everyone. She was a pure joy and honestly, one of my new favorites. So please like and subscribe. Again, I'm Cole at Kitschy Flower. I do lots of toy restoration. I'm a vintage reseller. I also am a doll maker. So yes. Anyways, links all in the bio, and until the next video. Okay, so I totally forgot to add the cute little bow into the last portion of the video, but I did do a quick minute fix up, added the bow, and she is, sorry if I'm making a lot of noise, and she is really complete.